Hey, what's up everyone? This is Simon, your host for the Modern Awakened Perspective, the map for your path to enlightenment. And this is going to be the third installment of my four-part series on the subjects I'm going to address on my channel. This one's going to be focused on health and nutrition. And it's not going to be as long as the others, but I try to pack in a little bit of information here that is stuff that was important to me and stuff I've discovered that really helped make changes in my life. So let's go ahead and get into it. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comment section. Please like and subscribe so other people can find this information as well. Okay, now let me say I'm not a doctor and I can't really give you health advice. I'm just going to talk about the things that have helped me become healthier. If you want some advice from experts in the fields of health and nutrition, I recommend Thomas DeLauer and Dr. Eric Berg. They're both easy to find on YouTube and have helped me a lot with my knowledge for sure. Okay, now I've learned a lot from them, and I mentioned them in a previous video, so you may have heard their names before. But I've also mentioned a book by Kevin Trudeau, which I read, several years ago. It was called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And there's a piece of information I took from there which really stuck with me. And it was about why people get sick and how to prevent themselves from being sick. Okay. He said that there's basically 4 reasons that people get sick. And that's because they're putting things in their body that don't need to be there. And they're not putting things in their body that need to be there. Also, physical and emotional stress. And the last one being electromagnetic chaos from the digital world that we live in. Computers, cell phones, TVs, all those kind of things. Okay. An example of things that you need to put in your body that you're not, they make you sick, is people have, I'm sure, heard of scurvy. Used to be a pretty big deal when people were out on boats sailing all the time, like pirates or whatever, because they weren't getting fresh fruit, a good source of vitamin C. And so that caused scurvy, basically the lack of vitamin C. And so that theme is very popular, or very consistent, shall I say, with other diseases. A lot of diseases can be attributed to a lack of something that you need to have in your body. So you may want to look into some nutritional deficiency that you may be having if you have a disease that that you need to look into and try to find a cure for. Now, of course, there's me as well. A lot of people put stuff in their body that they don't really need to put in there, and that's another reason you get sick. Also, the electromagnetic chaos, that's something it's kind of hard to stay away from with everything being electronic and digital in today's world. But there is something I ran across in my research called orgone energy, something I was unfamiliar with in the past. But this can sort of counteract some of the detrimental effects of all the electronic, chaos that we're being bombarded with. Now, of course, the other being physical and emotional stress. That's something I've sort of done my entire life, tried to limit the amount of stress through the type of jobs I've had or whatever else, just try to keep it to a minimum. And one thing to think about related to that is there's an old saying that goes with that, is that, try to focus on the things you can control and not worry about the things that you can't. And that'll help keep your stress to a minimum. So those are some of the things that I want to address surrounding those 4 suggestions from that book by Kevin Trudeau. You may want to look at it if you've never heard of it, called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. I learned a lot from that. Okay. Now, I suggested looking into that orgone energy. It can be pretty effective. Some of the videos and experiments I've seen with that were pretty astounding as far as how it works and how it can block out some of that negative energy, radiation, microwaves from cell phone towers, all kinds of things. It's pretty interesting. Okay, now I mentioned those 4 things. That's how to prevent being sick. Now, since I went through my awakening process, which was towards the end of 2016, I personally have not been sick at all. In fact, I haven't even had a headache. And to me, that's pretty remarkable. So I'm not saying that'll be the case for everyone, but for me, it's something that was extremely noticeable and something I'm thankful for. Now, one of the changes I've made over the last couple of years is I've tried to eliminate soda and other empty calories, especially sugar calories, from my diet. Now, I know everyone is different, but for me, it's been a lot harder to eliminate sugar than it has been to eliminate or reduce the amount of carbs I intake. In my research into having better health, I discovered the benefits of intermittent fasting. And some of these benefits of that kind of diet plan are increased levels of HGH, the human growth hormone, higher testosterone levels, and best of all, a process called autophagy. Autophagy is where your body cleans itself out of cellular waste, such as abandoned proteins and other cellular matter, which can make you sick. Now, there are many ways to do intermittent fasting, but the one that worked best for me was doing a 16 or 18 and 6 plan, where I would maybe eat a couple times during the 6-hour window and fast for the other 18 hours. And eventually I built myself up to a 1 meal a day plan, where I was basically give myself a 1-hour window to consume all the calories I need for that day, and then I'd be fasting for the rest of the day. That way I can maximize all the benefits from the HGH production and higher levels of testosterone and all those benefits associated with the intermittent fasting. Now, obviously, you want to build yourself up to that. You don't want to jump right into 1 meal a day, because it'd be hard for you to sustain it, and then therefore you're not going to have the results you're really looking for. Now, eventually, like I said, I graduated to the 1 meal a day, which is pretty much the opposite of what you hear in the mainstream, where they'll tell you, 3 square meals a day, and if you're trying to lose weight or put on muscle, they recommend 4 to 6 smaller meals a day. But that never gives your digestive system a chance to rest and recover. Now, obviously, the benefits, like I said, go way beyond losing weight. And my personal experience with the boost of the HGH from intermittent fasting has been tremendous. An example is in 2017, I've been playing basketball my whole life on street ball on the blacktop, and it's tough on your knees, and I've worn down the cartilage in my knees so that they're like bone on bone. So in 2017, I was to the point where I could maybe play every other day, in best case scenario. But after doing the intermittent fasting and increasing the levels of HGH and healing my body to some degree, in 2018, I played basketball for every day for a week straight for several hours in the dead heat of summer. So you can see that the change and the benefits were extreme, and made a big difference in me and my ability to exercise and stay in shape, which helped me lose weight more, which then took more pressure off of my joints. So it was a big, snowball effect, which was very, very beneficial. Now, not only was I eating 1 meal a day, consuming significant calories during that 1 meal, I started doing the ketogenic diet. And this has been a trendy diet you may have heard about or even been on over the last couple of years. But it has had tremendous results for me, so that's why I wanted to mention that. It's pretty similar to the Atkins diet from a few years ago, but it's a bit different. My approximate diet consists of 50% fats, 30% protein, and 20% carbs. The objective of this diet is to transition your body from using you want to start using ketones for fuel instead of the glycogen that is stored in your body after you consume sugar and carbs. Your body will store that in your muscles, and so what you want to do is use that store of glycogen in your muscles, so that then your body will start to burn triglycerides and turn those into ketones, and those are triglycerides stored in your fat. And so once you start burning the triglycerides or ketones for fuel, it's much better for your body. It's a much better source of fuel for your body. And basically, once you get into ketosis, you're helping your body in multiple ways. And your body also has the ability, if it needs glycogen, to make it naturally through a process called thermonucleogenesis or something like that. It's a big term. You might want to look it up on Thomas DeLauer's website. He gets really deep into the science of how it works and why it works so well. Now, one thing about the ketogenic diet, it's a good idea to supplement your diet with vitamins and minerals you may not be getting, such as vitamin C, so you don't get scurvy, all those kind of things. I take several myself, being an athlete, but I especially need magnesium, potassium, and sodium to keep my electrolytes in balance. People always hear that we are made mostly of water, but it's not just water. We run off of an electrolyte solution that needs to stay balanced since we have electricity running through our body. Some tips I've learned for when you drink water is that if you keep it room temperature, it's easier on your body to help acclimatize. That way it doesn't waste energy trying to get it back to the right temperature that it needs it. Also, it's suggested that you don't sip water all day long, because that way you are constantly having to have your electrolyte balance adjusted. So when you're thirsty, you drink quite a bit of water during that time, and that way you're not always having to have the electrolytes balanced consistently. That way you're getting all the water you need, but you're not always constantly going through this cycle, and you can give your body a chance to rest and be normalized. Now, like I said, of course we need water, but it's really electrolytes that we need to run on to run properly. And keeping those balanced is definitely a key to health. Now, this is, just a little bit of information here about what has helped me become a healthier person. And so I plan on addressing this subject more as I make more videos. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, or you can email me at contactforthemap@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe if you find this information useful, helpful, and ring the notification bell so you'll get updates anytime I make a new video. All this will help make the channel easier for other people to find, and they can have access to this kind of information, and maybe that'll help them also. All right, this is Simon from the M.A.P, the Modern Awakened Perspective, the M.A.P for your path to enlightenment. I'll speak to you next time.